If you want to maximize your chance of success in your assessment center, then watch this video all the way through. If you don't really care, then just, I guess, click off this video or something like that. Who really cares, right? But if you do want to maximize your chance of success in this assessment center, have watched this video because I can help you out. Now, how can I help you out? Who am I? In case you don't know me, my name's Owen. Essentially, in 2023, I was going through the degree apprenticeship application process, and I ended up with 8 assessment centers. I was applying for engineering roles, also a bit of technology as well. 8 assessment centers, and I ended up getting 8 roles. Okay, so I've learned how to do those assessment centers. Also, in the past 12 months, I've helped my students personally get offers, be successful in their assessment center from companies like Amazon, JLR, KPMG, HSBC, EY, Deutsche Bank, Airbus, just to name a couple for you there. Okay, so I've got a lot of experience with this. I'm just gonna make this video. It's gonna be raw. I haven't really like scripted it or anything like that. It's a bit raw, but hopefully it's gonna give you a lot of advice for your assessment centers. Maybe you got it tomorrow, maybe you got it next week, couple of days, but hopefully this is just going to give you a sort of checklist. I've made like a checklist of things you can sort of do. Okay, and you'll find this Google Docs in the description as well. So if you do want to go access the Google Docs after the video just to tick things off, you can go and click in the description. Okay, so that's just a bit by myself. Let's just jump straight into this now. So if you have your assessment center, here's what we can be doing. Okay, first things first. In your assessment center, they can be different for all companies, and they have different stages. Some of an interview, some of a group exercise, some of a presentation, all of this sort of stuff. But in general, most of them, if not all of them, are going to have an interview. So the key thing we're going to really be focusing on today is the interview. That's the thing where you can do the most preparation for. Number one, know all the common questions off by heart. You'll find in a lot of interviews for degree apprenticeships and also other roles as well, a lot of the time they just end up saying the same questions. Okay, and these are common questions like tell me about yourself. Okay, a nice little introduction question. Why have you applied to this role? Why have you applied to this company? Why have you applied to this field? What do you expect to be doing in this role? Okay, what are some of the challenges you expect to face? What are your strengths? What's your biggest weakness? There's a full list of these common questions available here. So if you go into the Google Docs in the description, open the Google Docs, and then you come and click this link. That'll basically take you to my community where you can join the community, and then you'll be able to access like a full list of these common questions. And I would literally go down that list and prepare for every single one. You want these to be off by heart. It doesn't want to be like, tell me a bit about yourself and you're struggling, you're trying to remember. You want to just practice these as much as you can until like, why have you applied to this role? Boom, it's easy. You barely even have to think about it. What do you expect to be doing in this role? Boom, you know exactly what you're saying. Okay, so these are questions. As much time as you have left your assessment center, just go through it. And now this is where we have to be realistic. We have to work with what we've got. Let's say you're watching this video at 8:30 a.m. and your assessment center is starting at 9 a.m. Okay, fine. Maybe you're not going to be able to memorize every single question, but you can at least go through that list, okay, and have a look at the ones there and at least think of answers, okay? At least plan them out, at least just be ready for them so that when they come up, you're a bit more prepared. So be realistic. If you got half an hour, just do the best you can. If you got one evening, do the best you can. If you got a week, do the best you can. If you're watching this like 12 months before your assessment center, man, you got no excuse. 12 months time, you've had 12 months preparation. You better be passing that assessment center. Do you know what I mean? So that's what you can do there. Go and have a look at some of the common questions and make sure you're preparing for those. This is exactly what I did when I was going for my interviews in 2022 and 2023, basically getting a list of the common questions and just boom, having my answer planned out. So the moment they ask it, it's almost when they ask a question like this, okay, why have you applied to this role? You almost want to have like a little fist bump. You want to be like, get in, because that's one of the easy questions. That's one of the questions, yep, I've practiced 100 times. I know exactly what I'm saying. Thank you for full marks. Let's move on to the next question. Handshaking the recruiter right there. That sort of thing. That's how you want to be, because in an interview, they're going to ask you these common questions, and then they're also going to ask you some ridiculous questions. Like, they're going to ask you things that are stupid that you can't even prepare for. You want to focus on those. You don't want to waste your energy on this. Like, if someone's really struggling with this question, it's like, you just wait until you get to the difficult question. How are you going to find that? So you want to like breathe through these questions, and then when you get to the difficult questions, you have all your brain power left. You've got like all your energy, and you can just really focus on them and just do the best you can, really. Okay, so that's the first one there. Next one, have 5 STAR examples ready to go. STAR is situation, task, action, result. I've done videos on it, but you can literally go on Google and Google it. What is STAR if you've never heard of it before? Basically, it's questions that are, tell me about a time when, tell me about a time when. It's basically looking for examples from your past life to see what sort of skills you have, because then they're going to see how are you going to go use those skills in the workplace. Are you going to be, like, if you have past experiences of doing time management, they know you're going to be good at time management. If you, in your past, you've done a lot of creativity, they know you're going to be good at creative. They're basically looking just for past examples, because someone's past is an indicator of their future, right? So, boom. You want to have these examples ready. These are very, 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 very difficult to come up on the spot. These are ones that genuinely I like took weeks to finalize and that sort of thing and get these examples ready. So you really want to make sure you're not having to come up with these in the middle. Because trust me, if you try and come up with a STAR example in the middle of an interview, either you have to be very good at it or like 99% of people, you're just not going to be able to come up with it because your memory's just going to be blank. Your mind's going to be blank. Tell me about a time when you, like, if I were to ask you right now, tell me about a time when you came up with an innovative solution. If you haven't already prepared for that, your mind's going to be blank. You're not going to be able to think of anything. But if you sat down for like an hour session, you started, okay, what did I do in year 12? What did I do in year 11? You're going to remember that one thing. Oh, yeah, in year 12, I did that random design competition. I came up with this like new way of doing our RC car. You're not going to remember that on the spot, but if you sit down beforehand and prepare it, you're going to be ready. So that's like literally an activity to do. Make sure you have 5+ star examples of situations from your life where you've displayed certain characteristics, and then just go and make sure they're ready. Again, full list available here. Go click in the Google Docs. At the end of the interview, a lot of companies ask things like, a lot of interviewers, ask things like, do you have any questions for me? Some don't. Some honestly just, I'm not going to name the company, but there's one company, it happened to me, it happened to one of my students last year. It gets to the end of the interview and they're literally like, right, thanks, that's the end of the interview. If you need anything, you can email at whatever.com. Thanks, and I'll see you in a bit. Take care, bye. Hang up. And then it was just gone straight away. But 95% of companies, you're going to be able to ask them questions afterwards. Now, this isn't going to be marked. For most companies, it's not like they're marking you out of 10 on, oh, this is how good Owen's questions were. It's more sort of psychological, because if you get to this point and then you don't ask any questions, you don't seem interested. And although they're not going to mark you down, it just means when they're in the briefing room, or I don't know, a week later, when they're looking at the different people, okay, we had 12 candidates, we have 3 people we're going to push through to, like, we've got 3 offers, 12 candidates, which 3 do you want to pick? Are they going to pick you, who's the guy who kind of disinterested? Like, you might be the same on paper, but imagine everything's the same, like your mark's the same. But one guy was really interested. He was asking like interesting questions. He just seemed like he was really invested in the company, invested in the program, invested in the process. And you're someone who just was like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine, yeah, no, I'm good, yeah. They're gonna give the role to the person who actually seemed interested, who actually seemed invested, because they seem like the person who's going to stay at the company. These companies, they want to recruit people who are going to stay at the company. That's why questions like, why have you applied to this role and what do you expect from doing this role, are so crucial, because they want to know that you understand what the role is. Because if you don't understand what the role is, if you've misunderstood, if it's not what you're expecting, then they're expecting you to just leave after like 2 months because you don't like it. They want to know someone who likes the company, they like the role. So that's why those questions are so important, because they want people staying for the long term. So think of some good questions that are going to like show you're interested. Like, what's the most exciting project you've worked on during your time at the company? Now, I do have a list of a whole bunch of like questions which you can ask them, but I'm not going to share them in this video, because like, use your own inspiration, use your own thoughts, because like, okay, 50 people watch this video, and then like tomorrow, like 50 people in their interview all asking the same questions. They're like, wait, hold on, what's to say? Like, if everyone asks the same questions, it stops it being unique. It stops it being interesting. So that's just one example there. Go and have a think about some interesting questions you could ask the recruiter that are going to show you are really interested. Not just questions like, oh, how many days of holiday do I get? Yeah, like, how many days of sick leave do I get, or something like that. I've unironically seen people like asking those questions, like just as their questions. Number one, it's like it's not making you look really interested. Number two, it's negative. Like, imagine, just think of it like, okay, yeah, someone's trying to apply to your job. They're going to work at your company, and the first thing they're asking is, how many days off can I get where I'm not going to be working for your company, but you still legally have to pay me? And that's like the first question they're asking. I'm like, bro, I'm not hiring you if that's all you think about. No. Okay, so obviously, if you have logistical questions you genuinely need to ask, go and ask them. That's what I do. Like, I have genuine questions like, how does the working from home, how does the working from the office policy work? Okay, oh, you didn't mention on your job description what university it was with. Are you able to give me a bit more clarity on that? Which university is that with? Boom, if you have genuine logistical questions, go and ask them. But just make sure you have 2 or 3 of these sort of interesting ones first, which are going to show you're interested. Also, hack for you. If there's any in-person, basically just have a whole bunch of questions ready. Okay, I can tell you this story. I was going for an office visit at one of the companies I was going to. Like, I actually had an offer from them at this stage, and I was considering whether I wanted to go for them. And I had an office visit, and I had like a few key questions I wanted to get answered. But I knew I'm going to be in here for like an hour, 2 hours. They're going to be with me the whole time. They're going to expect loads of questions. I literally prepared like a list of 30 questions, so that whenever they were sort of looking at me like, any questions, any questions, any questions, I didn't want it to be all the time like, oh, got no questions, got no questions, got no questions. I wanted to seem interested. So I made a list of 30 questions. To be honest, I didn't care about 27 of them, but it just meant when there was some like small talk thing, or I was just having a conversation with someone, rather than it being awkward and I'm sitting here like I really don't care what you're talking about, I could just ask some questions to sort of seem interested, right? So literally, that's like, again, that's a bit of a mental activity, but it's useful if you're in person, because it means if there's an awkward situation where they're asking you for questions, it means you can just say some stuff, because people like it when they get to talk about themselves, so they'll like you more if you're asking them questions about stuff they're interested in. So just have a couple of questions that you can just ask people, just to literally just to shut them up. Not even to shut them up, just no, sorry, to keep them talking. It's the other way around. You want them to keep talking, because when they get to talk about themselves, they like you more. This is psychological. Go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It changed my life, and it'll change yours too. Okay. Yeah, I'm literally an introvert, but I like small talk. I can just do so easily, because you just ask them questions, they just talk about themselves. Everyone's happy. Go home. It's the easiest thing in the world. Memorize the company values, what they mean, and an example when you have embodied it. Okay, they really care about company values. These are these fluffy, cute things that mean nothing, but companies like to do it because that's corporate sort of stuff. It is what it is. You have to show how you're going to represent these values. Some examples: Goldman Sachs, partnership, client service, integrity, excellence; JLR, customer love, integrity, unity, growth, impact; HSBC, like to be different here. We value difference. We succeed together. We take responsibility. We get it done. Obviously, someone had to up their word count when they were making their little document there. So what you want to do is you want to just memorize them. So if I was asking you, okay, what are our 4 values? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, we're happy. Now, what do they mean? The basically two generally, like they can ask more, but it's generally 2 types of questions they can ask to do with values. One of them is like, what does this mean to you? So what does integrity mean to you? What does partnership mean to you? Some companies, like, I can't remember which one, Accenture maybe, I think they have like a value which is like stewardship, and everyone's like, what does stewardship even mean? Well, exactly, that's what this step is for. You're supposed to be preparing for it. So you need to be ready for the question, what does stewardship mean to you? What does we take responsibility mean to you? And that's where you can actually go on these websites where they'll have some descriptions talking about these values, learn a bit more about it. The second thing is they might ask you an example or a star example. So this is sort of a related activity to this one. When you're thinking of examples, think of examples that relate to these values. Can you tell me about a time when you've displayed partnership? Can you tell me about a time when you've delivered excellent client service? Can you tell me about a time when you've really focused on your growth? Can you tell me about a time when you were part of a group and there was a difference in the group or something? Could literally create scenarios on these specific values, because you'll actually find a lot of companies base their interviews around these values. Not all of them by any means, but some of them will literally do a section on customer love, a section on partnership, a section on do we take responsibility. They're likely going to ask you for an example that represents those, so go and do that. Know a couple of random facts: who the current CEO is, what degree in university you will actually be at, because these are random questions they can ask you, and at least one thing about sustainability or diversity. Again, little buzzwords, corporate stuff. Companies really care about it, so if you can just say that, it's just matching with the kind of thing they like in like 2025. So just get some random fact. Oh, yeah, you guys want to be net zero by like 2045. That's so interesting. I really care about sustainability. All that sort of stuff. If you can say that, that's going to help you. Amazing. Print out all documents relevant to your application. That's a job description, CV, cover letter, copy of the application question, any notes. If it's virtual, have them on the table in front of you, stick them behind your laptop. I don't recommend having things on your screen, okay? Like, oh, I'll have it in a different tab, I'll have it on a Notion document, I'll have it on a Google Docs, because it's sus, because, sus, let's just, suspect, okay? I haven't used that word in like 3 years, that's embarrassing, right? It's suspect, basically, it's actually a thing now that interviewers are getting worried about people using AI on their interviews. So like you ask them a question, they chat GPT, it comes up on the screen and they start doing it. People are genuinely worried about that. From my perspective, I'm like, okay, just hold in-person interviews then. But apparently that bright idea has not crossed anyone in the recruiting world's mind, but whatever. You don't want to risk falling into that category where they think you're using AI, even though you're not using AI. You're just like looking at. So like, just don't use your notes. Again, people with glasses, like you can see it in your reflection with your body language. I can like see your hand, even if it's off screen. I can just see the way your shoulders and arms are moving. I can see it in loads of people. It's moving to the trackpad. I can see you scrolling through your notes trying to find the question. Don't do that. You want to have done enough practice. You don't want to just make yourself look suspect if you don't have to. Okay, and that's why if you just have the actual notes, you're not scrolling anything. There's no reflection in your glasses. It's just boom, CV if I need it. These notes if I need it. It's just notes. Everyone's happy, right? That's what I would recommend. Okay, everyone likes digital. Physical, I think, is probably better. Sticking them behind your laptop is huge. It means after they ask you a question about something and you're unsure, you can't think of an answer, boom, just move your eyes up about 10 centimeters, have a look. There you go. Oh, I've just remembered that in year 12 I did this. Boom, come down. There's your answer. Perfect. Okay, in person, you can't have too many things in front of you. Like virtually, you can go crazy. In person, I'd probably just have my CV. Like, I'd have a whole stack of paper, but like, you're not going to have 5 sheets on the table. It's probably just like 2, one and one. Just so you have your CV. That's absolutely fine. That's allowed. And also, it's good if your interviewer doesn't have a CV. It means you can actually print off a few copies, hand them to them. It shows you're prepared. It shows you're organized. Dress, but by the way, I actually have to be somewhere in like 10 minutes. That's why I'm constantly like checking my phone and I'm going so quickly. But I'm saving you guys all the time, so don't worry about it. Everybody is happy. So dress as smartly as possible. For the lads, preferably, basically, what you want to be doing is a suit and a tie. I don't recommend doing anything like sweatshirts or fleeces. That's what a lot of people do these days. Like, no. like my mindset is better to overdress. Okay, so you can underdress. Why would you want to do that? Like, if you overdress, it's not the end. Like, people say don't overdress, but like, what's the worst thing that happens? Like, you look like James Bond and you look really cool in a suit. Do you know what I mean? So I'd rather be memorable for the right reasons, not the wrong ones. That's why in my assessment centers, I used to wear like a really nice like gold tie. Like, I literally found the best tie in my cupboard. Always wore the gold one, black suit, and it was a kind of tiny bit over the top because I'd be in ones and there'd be someone in a hoodie, there'd be someone in just a white shirt, no tie, there'd be someone wearing a fleece, there'd be someone wearing a sweatshirt. But who's the most professional and who's the most memorable for the right reasons? That's what I'd recommend. Dress as smartly as possible. Now, use that what you will. It's up to you at the end of the day. But it's just, I'm telling you right now, if it was me, I'd be going everywhere like that. And if I end up looking like James Bond and everyone else like ends up looking like Stampy Longnose, sure, fine. Okay, do you know what I mean? So I'd rather you just dress better, right? Do your assessment center ritual beforehand. This is very good to like just sort of mentally, psychologically get you in the place. Number one, visualize yourself smashing the interview. Visualize yourself doing really well. Number two, like visualize yourself as James Bond. I was actually talking to one of my students yesterday, and he was like, "How can I try and like be more confident?" And I had to analyze this because I was like, I can be confident when I'm doing things. I don't know what I do, but what I realized is like I just visualize that I'm James Bond. I permanently just visualize myself as the main character in a video game, and it sounds kind of stupid, right? But it just helps. It's like if you're the main character, then you're going to have that confidence because you're the main character of the thing. So I know everyone jokes about, oh, he thinks he's the main character. But like, guys, it actually helps you. Like, I've got to where I am because I sort of visualize myself as the main character, right? So just do that to yourself. No one is better than you. You've got to just imagine you're the main. Like, I have a post-it note there on my wall that's been there for probably about like 10 months now. And it literally says, no one is better than you. Okay, because when you start thinking people are better than you start looking up to them and all this sort of stuff, you're pedestalizing people. Then when you pedestalize people, you're pushing yourself down and you start feeling bad about yourself and all this sort of stuff. No one is better than you, okay? Also, no one is real. They're all AI. Honestly, these people, you meet them, don't worry about messing up. Don't worry about saying something stupid because they're not real. Like, they're just AI. Even like the people you meet, maybe you're doing a group exercise, they're not real. This helps me like not worry about messing up in front of people and looking stupid because it's like, these people aren't real. These people, like, they're all AI. They're all NPC, GTA 6, walking around like, hey, this guy stole my car, sort of thing. Like, you know, when you're walking in GTA and they start, like, saying random things. Just imagine people are like that, and then you stop caring what people think. And when you stop caring what people think, you stop caring about talking in a group exercise. You might be scared of talking in a group exercise, but they're NPC. What, you're scared of talking to some guy in GTA 5 who drives with his car door unlocked, and you, like no one drives with their car locked in GTA 5. Is that just me? Like, just lock your car. Are you really scared of someone who's stupid enough to not lock their car in GTA 5? Right, you're not. They're just AI. Don't worry about it. Honestly, you're never going to see them again. Okay, do the same thing every time before your assessment center, like playing the same song. It's a ritual. I did a video on this like 14 months ago. It's like a thing sports people do. It's a thing I do before when I'm doing like my swimming events, for example. I have a ritual. It gets me in the zone. It gets me locked in. Okay, this was literally playing the same song. I think it would be like if the assessment center would start at like 9 at 8:57 every single time. I'd play the same song, start it at that time, boom, get me in the zone, locked in, I'm ready. Take a couple of deep breaths from the stomach. Okay, not little shallow stuff from the lungs. And it's like your stomach wants to bulge out. Okay, I literally could do a whole video on how to breathe properly, but just don't do this weird, like, sniffy, like, shallow breathing. You want to be breathing from the belly nice and deeply, okay? Now, during the assessment center, if online, look into the camera. I've been trying to do it as much as I can in this video because I'm trying to connect with you guys. You also want to do it with the recruiter because it's kind of weird if you're just sort of looking down here. Do you know what I mean? If it's in person, confidently shake people's hands. I used to think it was kind of awkward, like when I meet someone, do I shake their hand or whatever, because then you're waiting for them. You're just, like, waiting for them to do it. So what you can do is you and go and do it, okay? So when you get introduced to your assessors, interviewers, straight away, handshake at the very start, boom, everyone's happy. Again, I've literally done like I filmed like a video. It was part of like an hour-long video. There's like a 10-minute section where I literally analyzed how to do a handshake. I don't know if that's helpful for anyone. If someone wants me to go like find that clip and like repost it, go put it in like the comments below, okay? If it's in person, turn up 15 minutes before. And also, honestly, get to the city you're in like an hour and a half before. That's what I did. I got to the city I needed to be like an hour and a half before, just because like the train's cancelled and there's a strike, and then like the train just breaks down, and then the workers just suddenly, like, worker shortage, they don't turn up. Someone like vandalizes the train and goes on the rails, all this stuff. You got loads of time. Okay, but in terms of the actual venue, 15 minutes before, it might be the top of an office building. You go walk up. It's a good impression. You want to be the first person there. You don't want to be the last person there. Boom. If it's online, enter the call 5 minutes before. I was doing a call with someone, and someone was like, he wanted to like help on my YouTube channel and this sort of thing. And he ended up being like 10 minutes late to the call that he wanted with me. And he wanted like my help. Like he wanted me to give him an opportunity. And it just wasn't a good impression. Because like, bro, you're 10 minutes late. I'm not going to say wasting my time, but I'm giving you my time to hear out how you like want to get involved with the YouTube channel. And you end up being 10 minutes late. It's like, it's not a good impression, is it? So if online, enter the call 5 minutes before. finally, after the assessment center, this is a speed run and a half. Write down what you remember, okay? This is going to be good for you. Think about the questions you did well in. Think about the questions you can improve for next time, because it means likely you're going to have a couple of assessment centers, different companies. It's just good to sort of know that for future. Okay, and it means like you can improve. Oh, there's this one question I did wrong. Boom, go and practice it for next time. You don't know how quickly you forget this stuff. Trust me, it'll be an hour later you go forget it. So either write it down on the phone on your notes. Even better, do a voice recording. That's what I did after some of my assessment centers. I just did a voice recording for like 10 minutes talking about everything I remembered. I literally used that voice recording like a couple of months ago when I needed to like make a thing for this YouTube channel, and I used real information from my assessment center because I did it there. So do a voice note, write it on your phone notes, whatever. Also, if you want to like discuss anything, drop me an email with the debrief. It's just helpful for sort of me. What sort of questions were they asking? What did you struggle with? What did you well? It's just useful for me to sort of know what's going on. It can help sort of aid some of these videos that I'm making for 2026 or 2025 and this sort of thing. Final thing, monitor any calls from weird numbers. Usually they don't email you an offer. There's some companies that do, but most of the time they're going to call you with the offer. So it'll be a random plus 447842176431789. I didn't pick these up for like ages, but then, oh, I've got 5 missed calls and I've like literally missed my like Deloitte offer, for example. You don't want to do that. Monitor any calls from weird numbers. Boom, it is 17:59. I need to go at 6 p.m. I've got through this video super quickly. If there's anything I've missed, if there's any questions, put them in the description below. I actually enjoyed doing this. Maybe I should do this more often, like speed running videos, but I enjoyed making this video, and I'll see you guys in a bit. Any questions, leave it in the comments below, and good luck with your assessment center. I hope I can help. I hope this has helped, guys. Good luck. Let me know in the comments how you go. This is the longest outro ever. I'm literally waffling, and I'll drop me an email afterwards, and I'll see you in a bit. Take care. Bye for real now. Bye.